Oh, this is holding bagutan, sir. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Can you all hear me on the online side? Thumbs up. Can you all hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. Om Shuklam Bharadram Vishnum Prasannam Sadbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhayet Sarvavignoho Pashanti Yasyatma Bhutasya Guru Prasadhat Aham Vimuktoshmi Sharira Bhantat Sarvopadeshtu Purushottamasya Tasyangre Padam Pradhanosmi Nityam Prahalada Narada Parasara Pundarika Vyasamrisha Sukha Saunaka Bhishma Dalbyan Rukmanga Uddhava Vibhishna Palgunadim Punyanimam Parama Bhagavatam Namami Janmadi Asya Yato Anvya Idra Sarcha Arteshu Abhijñā Swarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Havaye Mukhyantyah Suraya Tejo Vari Mritam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Sargo Amrisa Dhamna Svena Sada Nirastakuham Satyam Param Dhimahi Nigama Kalpataror Kalitam Palam Sukamukat Amridam Dhruva Samyuktam Vivada Bhagavatam Rasamalaya Muraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं बाहवत सेवया भावती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनं प्रणामदुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम् हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय We are on the third chapter of the 11th canto, where there's a conversation originally happened between Vasudev and Narada. I just would want to refresh that. Let's not forget where the conversation started. Vasudeva was asking something to Narada. In response, Narada Muni was explaining something that conversation took place between the Yogeshwaras and the king Nimi. And then many things we saw in the previous two sessions, Saturdays, and the conversation still continues. In the last week, we we learned about how the Maya affects us and what is that we need to do. And then now King is continuing the conversation, is asking a question to another Rishi, Pipalayana, saying that Narayana Abhidhanasya Brahmanah Paramatmanah Nishtam Arhata No Vaktam Yuyam Hi Brahmavitamaha. This is Sloka 34, if anyone wants to refer. King Nimi inquired, please explain to me the transcendental situation of the Supreme Lord, Narayana, who is himself the absolute truth and the super soul of everyone. Who can explain this? You can explain this to me because you are almost expert in transcendental knowledge. So he's asking about Narayana because previously in the last week we saw that the only thing that one has to know is about Narayana. Um, one has to meditate upon Narayana. Now he's asking about the question of explain me more about the Lord. So Pipalayana is the rishi who is going to answer this question. Sthiti udbhava pralaya hetu rasya yet swapna jagra susuptu sat bahischa देहिन्द्रियासु हृदयानि चरन्ति येन सञ्जीवितानि तद् अवेहि param Narendra. Narendra is a name. Usually, sometimes people have the name Narendra, right? Indra, Nara Indra, the Lord of all the human. So he's calling out Narendra, the Lord of all the human, Narendra. O King, he's calling. This is just telling to the King because King is his name is Narendra. He's the King of all the citizens, beings there. Therefore, Narendra, Narendra. So he's telling here, my dear King, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause. Let's go to the sloka. Sthiti, Sthiti, Udbhava, Pralaya. These are the three things. The creation, the maintenance, and the annihilation. The three things happens. How does it happen? It all happens by the Lord alone. He is the one who is creator. He is the one who is a destructor, and then the destruction happens through him, and then he is the maintainer also. So he is the one. So the question about then no, that's not what we learnt in schools and other places. We heard that Vishnu is a maintainer, Brahma is a creator, and Shiva is a destructor. Destructor. But the Trimurti concept that is also there. That is also true, but they all do in a small scale. Small scale, including them. The one who creates even them is a Narayana, Supreme Lord Narayana. He is the main creator. Otherwise, the term Brahman or the absolute truth does not have any value. Absolute truth means that can be only one, cannot be having something which is equal to that. So, therefore, there cannot be three and so forth. So, it's only one. So, that's what has been said here. Over here, he is the one who maintains, creates, and destruction. It does the destruction. And who created him? No one creates. No one created. Man did not create God, or some other one did not create God. Okay, whoever creates that person, that becomes God then. So he pervades, that Lord who creates, he also pervades into each and every entities. He is present on the table, in the table. I mean, he is present in the living entities, in the non-living entities. Everywhere he is present. Like similarly, Atma is also present everywhere. Atma is present everywhere, and Atma cannot exist without Paramatma. Therefore, Paramatma is also present everywhere. Right. So he goes. Okay, let's give a few minutes. Okay, he pervades the various states of awakeness, awakefulness, dreaming, and unconscious deep sleep, and also exists beyond them. So this is something which happens in. There are four stages that we go through. Jagrita dasha. Jagrita dasha means this is the sound has been made, so we are in awakened situation. Therefore, we can understand that sound is there, right? So I can hear the sound, I can see the form, I can smell something coming from basement. All those things, no, not basement, from the ground floor. So all these things are, I'm able to perceive these things because my senses are active, and that is called awakened state, a jagrita dasha, awakened state. When I go to sleep, hmm, when I go to sleep, then next comes the swapa dasha. Swapa dasha means a state of dream. That means now my senses are shut down. I'm not seeing anything, I'm not hearing anything, but I'm started dreaming something. That means something has to be awake. Even though my five senses are not active, something is still awake. That's why I'm able to dream. And what is it still awake? Mind mind My mind is still awake. That's why I'm dreaming so many things. Dreams comes. Okay. And then next goes to sushupti dasha, where in this state even the dreams is gone. One doesn't get dream. That's what usually people call as the deep sleep. Deep sleep. Deep sleep. But even at the deep sleep, something is really active, even that state. That is our consciousness within us, which constantly keeps telling that I. That is why, how much ever deep sleep you go, when you get up, what do we say? I had a good sleep. How do you know? How did you know that you had a good sleep? You had a good sleep means you should not know anything, right? That's been deep sleep. But when you get up, you say, I had a good sleep. Right? Or a person who's coming from a state of unconsciousness, anesthesia, whatever it could be. He says, suddenly he looks at us and says, what happened to me? What happened? Here the dialogue has to be very carefully noted. What happened to me? That underline the me is very important. That means that me, I, is always active. Whether you give anesthesia, whether you are in a coma state or whatever state you may be, that I is always active. I is always active. That cannot be. That is called swapa dasha. Swapa dasha. And then the next is called sushupti. Swapa dasha. In the swapa dasha, there's one thing is still active. Two things are not active. One is the senses are not active, that we know. That's only active in this in the jagrita. In the swapna, senses are not active, but the mind is active. In swapadasha, the mind is also not active, but one thing is active, prana. One is still breathing and breathing out. Even the sleep, deep sleep, you're breathing, right? Breathing and out. And then next comes the Turiya Dasha, fourth stage. Turiya Dasha, the breath is also stopped. It's not that he is dead. This is very carefully you have to note that. He's not dead. He's in a Turiya Dasha. Turiya Dasha means is as we another easy words for also understand is we're in the stage of samadhi. Where we don't even know whether person is breathing or not, is alive or not, but he is there, still there. That is where is the highest stage of yogis that they try to attain. We are not, when we are go to sleep, we don't go to that stage. We don't go to if the, we go to that stage, that means we're dead. That's how we can understand ourselves. Right? These are great yogis, and they go through these things. And these, why is that this yogi is telling that? Let me read that that particular translation, he says that he pervades the various states of wakefulness, dreaming, and unconscious deep sleep, and also exists beyond them. That's Turiya Dasa, right? Beyond them. What does it mean is that the thing that I told, Jagrata Dasa, the Lord expands himself into four: Vasudev, Shankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Chaturvyugas. The four, he expands into four. The four stages that we saw, the predominating deities are these four deities. For these four deities. In the Jagrata Dasa, Aniruddha is the predominating deities. Now you have to connect to the sloka, how he pervades into all different consciousness. That is Aniruddha. Aniruddha is a god of Rakshana. Rakshana means maintenance. Is maintenance. That's where Brahma also comes from, by the way. Sorry, Vishnu also comes, by the way. The Vishnu expansion who maintains it comes from this Aniruddha. And the Swapadasa is by Pradyumna, where he goes into the dream state. That is a deity of predominating deity of mind also. So in the dream we start creating ideas and thoughts, and something happens, right? Pradyumna is the main deity for Brahma. Brahma creates things out of his mind. He starts creating. So it is Aniruddha. Sorry, Pradyumna. And then the next is Swapadasha. Swapadasha is Shankarshana. Swapadasha. In Swapadasha, mind is also stopped. That means almost everything come to shut down. Destruction sort of thing. Everything is stopped. Come to the unconscious state. Right? Swapadasha. So we can understand that is Pradyumna. Shankarshana. From Shankarshana who comes? Lord Shiva. From Shiva. Okay. So these are the different states. And Vasudev is a Sushipti. Turiya Dasha, Vasudev. The scripture says more details about these four stages. In Vaikunta, there is one pillar. The big pillar is there. Don't ask me, have you seen? I have not gone there yet. So the scripture says we all have to go through the words of scriptures. We don't have any ideas, because those who go there doesn't come and tell us how it looks, whether there is a shopping complex, a mall, or all those different things, right? But still we can find all those things in the scriptures. Details are there. So in the Vaikunta, there's one big pillar, and this pillar is divided into four parts. This big pillar is divided into four parts, and the four parts has four branches. Four parts, four branches, and each part represents these preceding devatas: Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Shankarshana, Vasudeva. And within this four, I said the four branches, though they also represent these four devatas within themselves. So this is available in the Vaikunta. When we go, we can have darshan of this particular tree or maybe we should stop this and hear that now. It's the same topic of Lord Shiva, Vishnu. Okay. Yes. What to Okay. What to do is too loud, right? It's loud. We don't want to trouble them also. Okay, let me continue. Sorry, there is another program happening on the side, and there's a speaker, and it's a little noisy. I don't know whether you all can hear on the online. Can you hear? Nice lecture is going on.
Yes, we can hear, Prabhuji. Other lecture is going on. Yeah.
So I'm not sure how we can speak now. Naitan Mano Vishute Vag Utta Chakshur Atma Pranendriyani cha Yatanalam Arshishah Swaha Sabdah Api Bodhaka Nishidatyatma Moolam Artoktam Aha Yad Rite Na Nisheda Siddhihi. Neither the mind nor the faculties of speech, sight, intelligence, the life, air, or any of the senses are capable of penetrating the supreme truth. This sloka talks about it is not possible to know, understand God just by our senses. Huh? Our senses is not possible. Our intelligence, how about our intelligence? Can we understand God by our intelligence, by studying all the scriptures? Even that is not possible. Therefore, if someone says, I totally, I've read Bhagavad Gita, I've read Bhagavatam, I've read Ramayana, I read Mahabharata, I know everything, now I understand what God is, that means please go back and study again. You have not read anything. By reading all the scriptures, one has to come to a conclusion. It is so difficult for me to, not difficult. It is not possible for, it's not difficult by the way, that's not the right way. If God wants, He can make it anything easy for us. It is not possible for me to fully understand God fully. For example, if a person goes to, sometimes people go to India and they go and come back and tell, I did Ganga Snan. I went to Ganga and I did Ganga Snan. And you ask the detail, and some old lady will come and then she will tell, Prabhuji, I went to Ganga and took Ganga Snan. Then I asked the question, oh really, you took Ganga Snan? And she showed the picture. I saw the picture. She was standing 1-2 feet away from the shore and taking the water like this and doing like this. And she said, I did Sangasnan. That's all she did. Which is true, by the way. Which is true. And we also see some people are standing near the shore and doing snan inside. Right? They also say, I took Ganga Snan. There are people who go to the deeper part and they dip into and they come back and say, I took the Ganga Snan. Everyone is saying, I took Ganga Snan. Is anything wrong with that? No, absolutely not. But the level a person does differs, right? Therefore, whatever little we know, we can say, I understood God to some extent. We can never say, I understood Him completely. It's like Ganga Snan only. Whatever we learn, it's just taking a drop and then sprinkling on our head. That much only we know about God. Why even when Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself says, he says that when Arjuna is asking Krishna, could you please explain to me about your opulences in detail, everything? And Krishna says, come on, you want in detail everything? It's not possible. It's not possible, but because it's not possible because I myself don't know. God is saying, I myself don't know how much I have opulences. It's unlimited. Therefore, I'll tell you only little bit and be happy with it. Selected ones. Okay. Therefore, one cannot understand Krishna to the best. Sattvam rajas tame iti trivit ekam adaho. Sutram mahan ahamiti prabhavanti jeevam. Jnana krityartha phala rupattayoro shakti. Brahmaiva bhati sat asaccha cha tayor param yat. Moving on to next. Na, natma natma jajanana marishyati naidate aso. Wait, let me see here. Andeshu, here is Andeshu, Peshishu, Tarushu, Avinishchitasu. So then he goes on explaining that how the the Vipalayana is explaining how the living entities are taken birth in different forms. The living entity takes birth from an egg, from a womb of a mother, there are different types of birth that the living entities take birth. They all are conditioned souls. They are all conditioned souls. But those who are serious, they will take up the process of devotional service. They take up the process of devotional service and they fix their mind at the lotus feet of Krishna. And their heart is to attain Krishna alone. Now after this topic, now the king is asking a next question. Is asking about, can you explain to me about Karma Yoga? You may think, why is he now he's asking about Karma Yoga? We'll come to that point. He says that I once, long back, I asked the Sanat Kumaras, the 4 sons of Brahma, I asked them to explain to me about Karma Yoga. They looked at me, smiled, and just walked away. Huh? They were not the Karma Yogis. Yeah. So what he says, Karma Yoga Vadatanaha Purusho Yena Samkritaha Viduyesha Karmani Naishkarmya Vidinati Param. And then he goes, Evam Prasannam Rishin Purvan Aprachan Pitur Anteke Nabruvan Brahmaha Putras Tatra Karanam Uchatam. I don't know why, but I asked them the question to explain to me about Karma Yoga, but then they just looked at me and smiled and went. Sometimes we also do to escape from answering some questions. We smile and go. Right? That is our buddhi is different buddhi, right? If we do that, that means we're trying to be safer on the some safer side, not to get into problems. Therefore, we smile and walk out. But the great rishis also smile and walk out. That means not like they're escaping, not to answer. Maybe the person is not ready to understand at that point. At the point they're ready to or not understand. Same like Chitraketu situation. It doesn't. The rishis came and told it is not time for it. Better you forget you're happy without children. And he said, you're so adamant. I want child. I want a son. I want a son. Then go for it. They blessed him to have a child. Then he understood. Oh my God, I would have been better off without having a son. Right? We read this thing in Bhagavatam. Yeah. So likewise, the rishi was asking, and they just walked out. Then he understood. Maybe I'm not ready to hear, understand, or I was not submissive in the way that I was asking. Sometimes we need to understand what question to ask, when to ask. Am I ready to ask this question? Or we should not be asking question for the sake of impressing other people. Sometimes we ask question when Maharajas come, sannyasis come, we ask such a wonderful question. So that it could be a genuine question, or it could be a question just to see how nicely I'm asked question. So that now people will start respecting me because I have had this question, challenging question or very nice question. People respect me now as a great devotee, senior devotees, intelligent devotees. If these are the ideas behind asking questions, then we should know the Lord is within our heart, will understand. If you're only looking for name, fame, and prestige, God will give that, by the way. But He will not give bhakti. You will become so famous. But in heart, you'll have not a little bit of bhakti. You know everything. You know the subject matter. You are very scholarly. But bhakti won't be there. There won't be a drop of tears coming out of our eyes when we chant or when we hear Krishna stories, or nothing will be there. Therefore, one should be very careful not to be carried out by such questions, or not to be carried out by someone giving a wonderful classes. How we must see how they are in their practical life, how they are dealing the situation, how they are with the other person, how they are themselves set as an example. Many things comes into the picture. Because people does not analyze these things, they go out the surface. When something happens, they think devotees are like that. They blame the entire group of devotees, right? So one should be very careful to see these things. There's nothing wrong to go to the deeper of understanding this. Okay, now that he asked this question, uh, Avir Hotra, Avir Hotra is the next rishi. He is going to answer. Karma, vikarma. Now the some of these things will be very familiar to every one of us. If you have gone through the Bhagavad Gita. Huh? Oh, sorry, there is 43. Yeah, I'm just going through some. I'm not going sloka by sloka. Okay. 43. Uh, कर्म विकर्मेति वेदवादन लौकिकः वेदस्य चेष्वर्तात्मात्मा तत्र मुह्यन्ति सूरयः तत्र मुह्यन्ति सूरयः लौकिकः वेदस्य च आत्मवात् ईश्वरात्मवात् तत्र मुह्यति सूरयः. Yeah. So he says karma vikarma. Sounds familiar. Karma, akarma, vikarma. We read in Bhagavad Gita, the third chapter. We spend so much time on this particular topic. Karmas are of three types: karma, akarma, and vikarma. Karmas are that action which are prescribed by the scriptures. Nitya, Naimitika karmas, our duties, whatever we are prescribed to do according to our varnashrama dharma. These are all falls under karma. What a Kshatriya should do, what a Vaishya should do, what a Brahmana should do, what a all those different Shudra should do. These are called karmas. They follow the karma, varnashrama, as per the varnashrama dharma. And what is vikarma? Vikarma is that which is not prescribed by the shastras, prohibited things. That is vikarmas. One should not do those things. And what about akarma? Akarma is nothing but opposite to karma. Karma means following the dharma. Here is what we have to be careful. What is prescribed in the Shastra, one performs, that is called karma. And then opposite of that is when you add a to in front of karma, that becomes akarma. That means what? Dharma, opposite of dharma is adharma. We know what adharma means. Now we understand what karma means now. What does akarma means now? It sounds quite similar to what we just saw as vikarma. Correct? Dharma, and opposite of dharma is adharma. Karma, prescribed things, and opposite of akarma is unprescribed things, which is actually what vikarma is. Right? So that's not what how we have to understand akarma. Akarma means that which is different from karmas. That's the actual meaning. It's not opposite of karma, that which differs from the karma, which is, what does it mean? You perform all these duties. That is karma. Akarma is different from that, is don't do any of these activities. That is akarma. We haven't finished yet. Whatever is prescribed here, you do Pitri karma, you do Deva Tarpana, Pitta Tarpana, Rishi Tarpana, Bhuta Tarpana. There are different yagyas are there, Pancha Maha yagyas are there. One has to do. That all falls under Karma Yoga. You don't need to do any of those things. Then it becomes akarma. That means who falls into that category, who doesn't have to do any of these things, are jnana yogis. Jnana yogis. Okay? They are not into this program. Or one you can say one sannyasi, one can also say sannyasis. Sannyasi doesn't have to have any of this responsibility to do. They doesn't have to do any of these things. Right? Therefore, that falls into these things. Now let's see a different angle to this one. Performing everything, but with the idea that nothing belongs to me. I am not the doer. In fact, that's what the karma yogi should also do. Right? When a karma yogi does these things, he actually falls into not getting a reaction. He does akarma, actually speaking. When a karma yogi does things with attachment, then he's not called as karma yogis. He's not no more a karma yogi. Because it's a karma kandi, because I'm doing some puja and I want to get something out of it. He's not a karma yogi. Karma yogi is the one who has a proper understanding. I'm doing this for the pleasure of the Lord. I am not the doer. I'm not expecting anything in return. When a person does like that, then he's as good as sannyasi, jnana yogi. Makes sense so far? So that is what we read, and these are familiar to all of
So, I mean, in other words, karma, the way you explain, could be that working without attachment.
Working without attachment. Working without attachment. Once the attachment comes into the picture, then it's gone. It's no more yoga. It's no more yoga. Yoga means with detachment. Even being within your family life, we are detached. We're being detached. Then that's called I'm following yoga. Some yoga. That means. Now, immaturely, people take up jnana yoga or sannyasam. They take up any of this because for us, oh my God, enough. This is too much for me. Best thing is to just give up everything. Go away. Just run. I want to go away. If this person is not going away, by the way, is not going away to Hawaii or some nice, what is it, Las Vegas or some of those places. Is really going to a spiritual aspect. Enough. This is too much for me. I cannot deal with my husband or wife. I'm telling first husband because otherwise I'll get into problems. Always wife is a problem, you're telling, right? So anyway, it's so easy for me to tell about the opposite because I fall into this category. That's all. Please don't mistake me otherwise. So, always problem with her or with him. Best thing is to just this children. Oh my God, it's like devils in my home, screaming and doing this, and I don't have peaceful life. Just cannot take anymore. So let me get out of this problem. I am going to become sannyasi. If a person is, this is an important point, please focus. If a person is taking sannyasi thinking they want peace in life, there's a problem. From what you learned, please tell me what's the problem with that one? Huh? No, I repeat my word again, sentence again. I am retiring, not retiring, I'm giving up the family responsibility and taking up sannyas because I want peace. Because it's too much for me. The married life is too much for me. Give up. Next day I send a message to my wife saying that bye bye, don't look for me. I'm giving up family, I'm become a sannyasi because I want peace. What is the problem in that now? Anyone?
I think it's difficult to be sannyasi when you suddenly.
No. You're going ahead of beyond what the question is. But the question answer is already lies in the. Huh?
It's selfishness, Prabhu. Selfishness out of avoiding prescribed duties.
Selfishness is one good point, but the answer already lies in the question I posted. Very simple. No, that's what Manonath Prabhu said. What does sannyasa means? Sannyas, what does
Give up everything.
give up everything, right? Now I'm saying that I'm giving up my family for that reason because there's too much for me. I want to be in peace.
It's because of the frustration.
No, there's an
Because it's not giving up,
huh?
Prabhuji. It's just he or she is not giving up. He already wants the peace, right? So that means like he wants to have something. So he's not giving up everything.
Exactly. That's why I repeated so many times. The peace is a catch there. Now, why I want to leave and go? I want to be in peace. What did you give up then? The I is not gone yet, and you also have to be happy by being peaceful. That's not what you want to do. You cannot do that. Means you're expecting some phalam, some fruit out of by taking sannyas. I want to be in peace. Walk around the holy dham, be in peace, enjoy everything, have some nice prasadam, whatever is given. This is all another way of enjoying on the name of spirituality. Still, you're enjoying these things. Then that means you're not ready to take up. How do we know we are ready to take up sannyas? Tree is a very good example. This is too loud. But no offense to what they're chanting though. It's really nice. You see, when we look out on the window, the trees are pretty much dry with all the twigs and branches because of the weather. Because of the weather, the trees are all completely gone with no leaves. In spring and in summer, how the trees are full of leaves, green, right? Right. When you go to the tree or any branch and shook the branch tree, and it's not very easy to get the leaves off during summertime. It's not possible. You can cut or pull the leaves off. That's possible. But during the winter, we don't need to put any effort. Naturally, it falls off. Right? That means what? As long as naturally that awakening, that detachment comes into us, we are not ready yet to take sannyas. If we try to pull the leaves off, it's going to destroy the tree. It's going to damage the growth of the tree by cutting it off and all those different things. It's going to damage the tree. Therefore, wait for the right time to come, and naturally those things will come and goes off. One may think, when will that natural thing will come? That will be another question. How much serious we are, that much will be the result. How much we adapt practicing doing some spiritual practices, the detachment to that degree comes. For example, here's another example. Looking at Ashok Prabhu, I'm just thinking here. A patient comes. The patient has been prescribed by a doctor has given a prescription that you take these much tablets. and you have to continue for next 6 months, and the patient doesn't want to take the medicine. He wants to stop taking the medicine, right? If he wants to stop taking the medicine, you know what he has to do? If you want to completely stop taking the medicine, because he doesn't like to take medicine, you want to stop taking, second question to you all, if you want to stop taking the medicine, what he must do?
Accept the condition.
Huh?
Accept the condition and accept the consequences of it.
Okay. Next.
Take the medicine.
Simple answer. If you want to totally stop the medicine, follow the prescription that doctor is given, complete the course, and you can stop the medicine. Right? Now, for me, my family is the problem. Right? Because I'm diseased, I went to the doctor, and doctor has given me a medicine, but I don't want to take the medicine. I want to stop taking the medicine because it's bitter. I don't like it. I have to inject myself, whatever it could be. I cannot go through all those things. I want to stop that. But you cannot immaturely stop it. You have to finish the course and you get cured, then you can totally stop the medicine. The family life, whatever we are going through, is all and one way or the other, it's a medicine for us to become mature in our life. We cannot simply throw away these medicines. Our wife, children are all one way or the other giving us some medicine, maybe not the way that we wanted. It's not coated with that the children drink this syrups, right? Strawberry flavor, orange flavor, raspberry flavors. These medicines are not like that. Some medicines are nice, flavored. Some medicines are bitter in our family. But these are all medicines. These are all medicines. That we have to take it. Being what? We cannot forcibly throw them away. We take, like you said, we accept it. We accept it as medicines for our better consciousness, for our progress, spiritual progress. How strong that we have to become to deal with these medicines. Right? When we take this naturally, then we'll become cured. Then at that point, we can be free of medicines. Even if the medicine is around us, now we'll change the terms. Even if the family members are around us, when we come to that stage, none of their things is going to affect me. Not that everyone is going to take sannyas. That's not the point here I'm making. You come to that point where any of these events that's happening around me, through my family members, relatives, etc., nothing is going to affect me. Nothing is going to affect me. I've gone to that stage by accepting the facts of what the life is, how they are.
So, what's in sannyasi's minds usually when sannyasi takes a sannyas? Or, I mean, they are already very high level.
Not necessary. Not necessary. They are fully dedicated. They are sincere. They are ready to take up the austerity in their life. They're ready to take up that austerity and be committed to what they have promised and what they have taken up in their life as sannyasa ashram. Therefore, to become a sannyasi is not an easy thing. There are histories where after taking sannyas, people have gone back. There are histories, they've gone back. That's why Shastra says that don't make prematurely make decisions. Don't simply follow because your peers are doing something. You also don't do. In a TV show, sometimes we see this one ads comes. If they want to show a shoe ad or a bike ad, whatever, I don't know. I'm just throwing some examples. This boy will ride the bike and then it just lifts a thing and then jumps from one cliff to another cliff or one place to another place. He lands over there. If I see that and got inspired, and if I start doing, I'll break my knee. I'll be meeting you on next day. I can't do that. Everyone is different in life, and we appreciate everyone the way they are. But am I going to simply blindly follow them? I want to be like them. I want to be like them. But that is my goal. How I'm going to achieve is a process. I don't want to jump right there and then again fall down. So gradually take the step carefully and then monitor ourselves, how we are progressing, and then without even our knowledge, we'll be in that state. Therefore, in sannyasi is not an easy thing to take. They are really stable in their practices. They prove themselves that they will continue. Mostly, that's how it is. Then they've been given sannyasam, not otherwise. A lot of pre-test and examinations of that person character, behavior, how he deals the situation, how he responds to the situation, everything matters. That's why when we deal with sannyasi, you don't get a straightforward answers sometimes when it comes to practical things. They give choices to make us to think more on ourselves. We mean, why this person is not giving me an answer? Because he wants us to think. He doesn't want us to make us a puppet by giving answers. Because if he's not there tomorrow, we'll be in a problem. So they help us, guide us through to make us think properly.
So these are all the monks in all the different traditions?
Yes. Yes. All the traditions, all the sannyasis are great, and it's to become sannyas is not an easy thing. Because it is said that once you become sannyas, you cannot go back.
But we can aspire for that living in the family life as a process.
Here is a point. Sarva karma sannyasam is one type. Sarva sankalpa sannyasam is a second type. What's the difference between these two is sarva karma sannyasam is karma means our duties. Our act, sarva karma sannyas. Sannyas means renounce. I have nothing to do with this world. Give up everything. That is sarva karma sannyas. Those are the sannyasis, actual sannyasis, who wear the saffron dress and sannyas. Whereas sarva sankalpa sannyasa is having every responsibilities, every duties, but they are not attached to any of these things. Those are the grahasthas, family life. Being the family life, but they are not attached to any of those things.
So, I remember.
That's what Krishna says. That all comes by because we are not able to get to that point. Going back to our Bhagavad Gita.
Chapter 18, beginning question of Arjuna is the same, right? What is it to really give up and leave or stay?
Yeah.
And Krishna
says
that you keep doing what you are doing, but just renounce.
Right.
Right.
So,
that's the biggest advice.
That's correct. So going back to Kiranji's question, how is it possible? She was not laughing, she was just feeling that. And how is it possible to be in a family and to be detached? That's why it's not possible because of reasons that there are obstacles for us to follow Karma Yoga as Karma Yoga. That obstacles has to be removed. How does the obstacle get removed? By following Dharma. Whatever our prescribed duties, we keep doing those things. For example, if you're a Brahmana, do the Sandhya Vandana. Follow certain things that has been prescribed to you. If you're a mother, you do what your duties are. As a father, whatever the duties has to be done. Everything is done when we keep doing these things when you're doing those things, not with the expectation. Again, that is easy. Not with the expectation. What happens is that when you do that, those things will remove that obstacle for us to come to that stage of what you're expecting by the result of Karma Yoga. This is really too loud. Maybe we have to. If it is going to continue every week, then we have. So for that reason. Okay.
So I have one more question.
Yes.
So as beginners, when you keep going,
I will repeat the question after Mataji says this.
As beginners, when you are going,
is it okay? We'll just stop here. It's just we'll take question and answers now. It's glorious days, Shivratri, so we have to respect Shivratri. So
as beginners, when you are going back and forth,
what is it?
as beginners, if we're going back and forth, having proper consciousness one moment and not having it the next moment, and you feel terrible about it. So how do you move forward with that kind of, 2 steps forward, 1 step backward, 2 steps forward?
2 step forward, 1 step backward is appreciable. 2 step forward, 3 step backward is dangerous.
Okay.
You will never get out. Make sense?
Yeah.
So it's very good. So therefore, the question that you're asking is a simple question of what Arjuna has asked Krishna in the 6th chapter. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna. Because sometime we are. Anyway, the question here is. What is it? One more time.
As a beginner,
As a beginner, we are able to do some things, and then after some time, the mind changes, and we're not able to continue what we are doing before, right? Spiritually, whatever.
You just get caught up and you just don't do it properly. So, one moment you're functioning in proper consciousness, the next moment you're not. So how do you move forward from that without beating yourself up, without feeling guilty?
Okay. So one time we are able to focus on something, another time we are not able to focus. Therefore, this requires practice. Abhyasena. This is for all of us. We have the same problem. By the way, none of us are exceptional. For some people, the concentration level may be little more longer. For some people, may be lesser. That's the only change. Otherwise, everyone has the same problem. So whenever we are able to focus on something, try to extend our time during that time. Extend that period of time. So the concentration focus can be more. Right? So that's one thing that we can do. When we get distracted, when we are not able to focus the same thing during the other time, we should also understand what other factors revolves around us, which is disturbing us. There could be some objects which must be pulling us away from our focus. Keep those objects away from us. For example, you're chanting, right? That time, ping, message comes from the WhatsApp or message. That means very obvious. I'm getting disturbed when I'm chanting. The phone is right there. Keep the phone away from that room until you finish this one, and then go and check your messages. Things like that. Does it a little bit answers? Okay.
So the soonest, see if external factors affect you, the soonest you can get back to your practice and the longest you can stick to it, you have to do that. Right?
Yes, exactly. But if the external things are causing us distraction, we can deal with it by keeping ourselves away or keeping them away. But what about the mind? We don't need any other better distraction than our mind. But that requires a practice, conscious practice. Whenever our mind says something, constantly keep pulling it back to our focal point. That is what abhyasa, practice. There's no any pills for that. If there was one, Krishna should have given to Arjuna the first time, that sloka right after that sloka. He said, practice, you will get it. How do you practice? Vairagyena. With vairagyam, with proper detachment from other things. Yes, I have to do this one. I have to do this because God is pleased by me doing this one. Let me do it. And another technique is said that when some thoughts comes into our mind, keep a pen and paper next to you. If something is very important thought comes in your mind doing your meditation or chanting, write it down and keep that close it away. So you tell that I will deal with you later. That's another technique people usually do. Otherwise, if you don't keep that away, writing and keep that away, it keeps coming you. You'll forget. Let's start thinking about it. This is the right time to think. Right? So you say, okay, I'll give you preference, but not now. Write it down. I'll address that after my puja, chanting, meditation. That's another technique. Okay.
I think one more thing what you said. Again, it's also listening to to the Krishna Katha and then being in the association of like-minded devotees and all that. I think that's another thing that where that time which you spend is very quality. It's not like like on the weekdays. You're more from like my life,
Right.
from 7 until 7. 12 hours I'm doing some different things. How do you then kind of stay in touch? I think with the spiritual life. I think that's also a challenge. So, I mean, what I tend to do is that whatever time I get in between patients, also I'm in the room, Krishna's picture, and I sit down, kind of, meditate a little bit, and go back.
Yeah, I think that's the nice.
I don't know what else.
So the question is, I've been working, doing 8 hours, 7 hours, 10 hours of job, and then association of devotees only during the weekends, and weekdays mostly associating with those who are non-devotees. Okay? So this is a standard question, but the thing is that don't see any. That's what we are reading from Bhagavad Gita. Don't see different outside world. Right? Those who are coming to you as patients, see them as Krishna's sent this person. By them, please understand this. By them coming to you, by your touch, whether you accept or not, they get a benefit. They're getting a benefit by your association, by your touch. So you're actually speaking. You're doing devotional service throughout 7 days a week. Weekends directly. Weekends directly you're associating, you're doing this thing, and then whatever you gain on the weekends you're giving to the outside world next 5 days, and you're charging yourself in between by taking prasadam. I know you don't take anything, you take salad. I know salad prasadam, and then you hear to some little bit of lectures, or you read something, or you have a picture of Krishna over there. All those things are recharging, going and recharging yourself. How you do this? Once you touch the patients, I see doctors immediately go there, and then near the door they have this hand sanitizer. You put this one and then do this one and go. Like that, you come back after every patient or whatever the time permits. Come back and then sanitize yourself by Bhagavad Gita or lecture or chanting or prayers or whatever it is. Sanitizing ourselves. So I think the one big thing that we all as devotees have to understand our practices is valid. That it's not the same thing how we spend time at temple, how we spend listening to lectures, how we spend with devotees. It's not the same when we go to work. It's true. It's very true. But we should also understand that's where we have to practice. That's an opportunity for us to given us for us to practice what we learned over the weekend or over the evenings or whatever lecture we hear. That's where you have to practice. If that doesn't happen, how will we gauge ourselves spiritually? We are maturing. If everything is only surrounded by devotees, everyone is good, everyone is kind, everyone is serving you and we are serving others. Only Harinam Kirtan is going on inside. That's very good. But when you go on a trip somewhere, then we'll know how good we were in a closed environment. That time we'll be tested heavily. So let's go through these things as our part of our life at work, at colleges, universities, as a student, whatever it may be we are in our life. How is our consciousness when someone tells something about us? So just giving a practical example. This week, what happened is, I was in a meeting. I was in a meeting or office meeting, and then I was saying something. This should not happen, and another person was saying also something, and that person was telling different than what I said. Then I just kept quiet. And then after the call happened, that person said, sorry, but this has to be done, whatever, I'm without giving the details. But later I had a conversation with this person and said that these are the reason that we have to do like this and like that. Oh, I missed the other call. I didn't know this is why he was saying this one. He missed a couple of previous calls. And he just came into this call and he understood, for him it's a starting point. He missed the other 2 calls. Therefore, he thought that I'm trying to say something differently. Then after getting the background of it, he understood, okay, this is what it is. So rather, we could have gone in the call saying, what do you know? You missed the 2 calls. We could have made him feel guilty that he missed the 2 calls and make him shame in front of the people. But what's going to happen? Enmity is going to develop. Rather take it offline and talk to and person, make them understand. Next time he's going to be aware when someone speaks, let's confirm before I say something. Not me, someone else speaks. Maybe you have to check before we say something. Right? So we can apply what Krishna's patience, tolerance, when to say what, when not to say what. All those things only can happen within the family or outside the family at workplace. Within among our devotees, our true nature and color is not going to be projected out. Among devotees, we are all great devotees. We are senior devotees. We are very well versed in everything. We are humble devotees. We are very tolerant. We are very patient. That's how you talk to any devotees. You feel every devotee is like that. Yes, we can certify that person. You are humble. You are tolerant. You are patient. But go to their house. Put a what is that camera called? What is camera? CTV, whatever. Don't do this one, by the way. Please, not at my house at least. He will come to know next week. We won't allow me here. So you put a camera in the house, right? Or put a go to the workplace and see how this person is. Then we will know. I was just waiting for you. Come on. So we'll know, right? So devotee association, in devotee association, among devotees, we will not know who we are. We are not. I'm not telling. We will not know who that person is. I'm not telling that way. We don't really care about what that person is, how he is at home, how he is, how she is. That's none of my problem. Among how am I, and how am I at home, how am I at office, how am I with dealing with other people on the road. That tells whether I'm practicing devotees or I am devotee for the sake of devotee, for the namesake. So I'm just extended your question into 2 different angles, saying that it's a good opportunity. That's what I'm trying to say. Good opportunity for us to practice Krishna consciousness at different levels and different places. What's the time? 11:30? Oh, good. Any more questions? But my mind changed into a question and answer, so we're not going back to the lecture. We'll do it next week. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mata.
I have like 2 questions. The first one is maybe a clarification or comment or maybe a question, and the second one is a question. So the first one is that we all have been talking about from your Gita thread also like akarma, and akarma means we have been talking about like how karma that doesn't give us reactions and how to perform that akarma. You always say that karma without attachment. But in our practical life, I have particularly experienced that when I work without attachment, like I don't know how to do that. Like if I'm not attached to my work, I feel like I'm not performing. I will not be performing well. So automatically while performing any sort of work, whether it is my study, whether it is giving any presentation, whether I'm teaching, if I'm not attached to that activity at that particular point of time, I feel like I will not be successful. I mean, I am not giving my 100%. So what you exactly mean by work without attachment in a practical sense? That is my first clarification question. And the second question
my memory is very weak. You are very smart. Hold on to the second part. If it is a different part, just can you hold on? I'll address this one first.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Because I can't remember arrows of questions. So don't be surprised. There's nothing wrong in being attached in what you're doing. Now let's understand what Krishna says. Krishna says, please understand the sequence of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna said, you have to do your karma yoga. What is karma yoga? Do your daily nitya and naimitika karmas. whatever the Nitya and Naimiti karma, whatever the pujas, your chanting, your services, and study of scriptures, all those things, yagya, homa, all those things. And Krishna says, when you're doing that, what does he say? Don't think you are a doer. Don't think that is yours. Don't think that you are the owner of the activities. Please understand, Krishna's conditions are directly to those things as karma yoga. Okay? So now let's come to the work. When I'm doing work, if you are not having that sort of connection to your work, attachment to the work, if you're detached, then you're not going to get a result out of it. Therefore, at workplace, the work that you're doing, you have to have some sort of connection to it, some sort of liking to it, some sort of attachment to it. There's nothing wrong in having those things. And that, what Krishna says over, don't apply in this concept. Now, when you have to apply that is when you have a presentation you have to give, you have to prepare for some examination, you are doing out of 10-20 people, you are part of that group where you have to work towards a thesis, dissertation, something that you have to do. All those things you have to put your heart and do it. You have to do it. Outcome of that, don't be worried about that. Whether you're going to get reward or your friend who's your roommate is going to get reward or someone is going to get, don't get your mind into those things. You do the best with real liking towards what you're doing, but outcome of it, don't be attached to that. Let it come. When the attachment, when the award comes and rewards comes and you get a great marks in your exams, immediately remember Krishna, thank you for this. Whatever it is, it's because of you I've got this one. This also belongs to you. And you made me to perform in such a way to get this result, to get this reward. So that also goes to you. Was that clear for the first one?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. So like while doing work, we should have some little bit inclination. Otherwise, we'll not be able to perform the work properly. But we don't have any control on the result. So we should not be in anxiety for that part.
Yeah. You see, you go to your professor, and your professor is telling that, how is it going? And you're telling, you're doing, shaking your shoulder, and it's going on. Or you're telling, is there any progress? Yeah, it will happen. Progress will happen. I'm not really, sir, Mr. So and so. I'm not really attached to the progress. I'm not attached to the progress of my work. So how is it going to be? It's not going to be good, right?
It'll throw me out.
Yeah, they'll throw you out. You're not the, because any field you go, people are hiring people who have some interest to do that job. No one is going to hire if you don't have an interest in that job. And even if you're joining to it, right? Even if you're joining a job, I wanted to say something. Therefore, interest should be there in anything that we do, and there should be some ownership in that interest, which you can call that as an attachment. There's nothing wrong in saying that way. But that attachment, what happens is, if your professor comes and tells Priya, I know you've been working on this for 2 months now. I think that this person who just joined our program has 10 years of experience. So I'm going to hand over your thing to her, let her continue, and you please take care of something else. Here's a new thesis for you. That's when we have to check ourselves. Yes, I was attached as long as it is under my responsibility and ownership. This usually happens in corporate world. The managers and the reporting people, the managers gives their heart and everything to their employee, and then just see the next day what happens is the organization changes, the reorg happens, and the manager gets a new set of employees as a report, right? And then the manager doesn't even care about the old, yes, He's a manager, right? That's why I'm looking at him. The manager doesn't even bother about he's got a promotion or how is he doing or nothing. He just gone, completely detached from that person. And he got attached to the new set of people now. And he talks about, makes calls every day, and how's it going, how's family doing, one-on-one, and so many different things happens. And the other employee is going, it's been more than 2 years, boss, supervisor, you never had a one-on-one with you. And manager is going to, why should I have with you? You have a new boss, go to him. And that's the level of detachment one should have, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for clarifying the answer. Question, sorry. So my second question is maybe not related to our session today, but I still want to ask, like, how as a Vaishnav we should observe or honor Mahashivratri, because Mahashivratri. So that's
One second, Mata. Battery. You have a wire? Oh, it was not connected. Okay, Mataji, please repeat. Start over.
No, I just wanted to ask you another question that may not be related to our session today, but I just want to ask, like, how as a Vaishnav we should observe or follow or like honor Mahashivratri.
Mahashivratri?
Yes.
Oh, you can wonderfully celebrate Mahashivratri by reading all the wonderful stories from Bhagavatam. Right? We can do that. And if you're so inclined, there's nothing wrong if you have a practice. If you want to fast also, you can fast. It's a great Vaishnava. We all know that. We keep hearing this one. You can fast. That is also no problem. You can do that one. And then there is a beautiful stotra in Bhagavatam. It's called Jvara Gita, I think. Anyway,
Rudra Gita? Like you're talking about Rudra. Oh, okay, Jwara Gita. Okay.
So it's in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam where the fight happens between Bhanasura and Krishna, and many devatas comes, and Bhanasura was a great devotee of Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva leaves his astra called Jwara, and the Jwara astra comes, and then it starts offering his prayers to Krishna and Krishna's weapons, chakra, and so forth. So that also can be recited today in glorification of Lord Shiva.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. I just wanted to ask that. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, we appreciate, we glorify Vaishnavas, but then we don't get carried away into, starting demanding things. Okay, so Jana Mataji, what do you have? It's been a long time. You have not asked any questions.
Vijay was an MU. Thank you very much. I'm fine today.
Okay. Anyone else? Ravindranath Padu, Manonath Prabhu, Pradeep ji is also there, I think. Shravanti.
That first question renounce the fruit. I think in the past we renounce the fruits of the work, but not the work itself.
Yes.
That's kind of
yeah. And Krishna's that's what Krishna is promoting. Renounce the fruits of the activities, doership, and so forth, but don't renounce the work. If we start renouncing work, just imagine every single person in this world becomes sannyasi. My father asked this question, by the way. My father, when I was in school, and I took my father to one of the sannyasi who came as a visitor to Chennai ISKCON, and I introduced my father and mother to that sannyasi. And then my father asked this question. You wanted everyone, my father is a lawyer, so he challenged, asking that you wanted everyone to be a brahmachari, you wanted everyone to be a sannyasi. What will happen if everyone becomes sannyasi in this world? How will the world function? It's a true question, a very valid question. And the sannyasi said, that Swamiji said, that will never happen, don't worry. Simple answer. That will never happen, don't worry. And my father was happy, okay. He got what he wanted. Any questions?
It sounds like sannyasi is more than just, walking away from your duties. Something deeper than that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true.
I don't know what that deeper is. I don't know if it's like a frame of mind.
So sannyasam, nyasam, to give away. Sannyasa means to completely give away. What to give away? Very simple. Having an idea that I don't have anything to give away, first of all. If you think I can give away, that means you think that you have something with you. The sannyasis are those people who doesn't have an idea. They have an idea that nothing belongs to them. That's the first thing. And they don't, to get more detailed, because of that, they don't go to job, by the way. They don't go to work and then call themselves a sannyasi. Brahmachari is also same case. Vanaprastha also cannot do a part-time job, by the way. I'm retired, but I'm going to school to be as a teacher. That is not Vanaprastha. None of these three categories should earn money, by the way. Sannyasi are those people who doesn't have, to be very frank, they don't even have insurance, health insurance. They don't have a bank account. They completely and totally depend on Krishna's mercy alone. That's the deepest thing. How many people can do that? They cannot do. That's sannyas. If one can come to that consciousness within the family life, then that person is also sannyas. But he can still have whatever he needs to run the family. Now that he says that, I am renounced, therefore I am not going to take you to the doctor. Suffer. It's your karma. My son, because you're born to me, you suffer like that. No, it's not like that. He does whatever he's supposed. The only difference is he does whatever he's supposed to do as a family man, but outcome is just not worried about the outcome. Whereas sannyasi, he doesn't even do that what Grahastha does. That's a big difference between these two. I don't know. You came a little late, so I don't know what you understood so far. What did you understand? Anything? Oh my God, he just gave the punch of the whole lecture. I thought he missed many of the things, but then he gave a punch. He said do your duty, don't expect. Right? You got the message. Good. So when you go to the school next time, you're not going to expect any good grades. Wow. He said, do your hard work. A plus or A or whatever comes, that depends. Whatever it comes, I will take it. But you have to do the best. That's the point here. You have to do as if that's yours. You have to outstand in the way that you perform. A job or studies or whatever it is, you'll be outstanding. As if you don't have any other work to do. That's how the people around you should see you when you're doing your job. Oh my God, he's so dedicated. He's just so great. But then internally you should know that this has nothing to do with me. But you don't project that outside.
I think it's difficult. It requires a lot of practice.
That's why we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That purifies us, our consciousness. We constantly be in this devotees association, keep hearing. As we keep hearing, we keep repeating the same thing again and again. So that stays with us.
It's very good to hear Vaibhav say that.
Yeah, Vaibhav. How old are you, Vaibhav? 11 years. Just little younger than me. Okay, Vaibhav in 11 years, he knows that in my 11 years, I have no idea of these things. 11 years, Vaibhav is telling that don't get attached to the result of your action. Be happy with what you get, but do your duty.
So you have to deeply care, but not be attached. So you deeply care about everything you do.
Yeah. Yeah. It benefits us if you don't get attached to it. because we don't know the result, what we are going to get. So it makes it feel better. At least I did my duty. Okay.
Put your heart in it, but not in your heart.
Yeah, I think you can say that whatever way you makes you feel comfortable to understand that concept. Yes. Put your heart, but don't leave the heart there. It's a nice saying, actually. I like it. Put your heart, don't leave the heart there. Wow, that's nice.
I'm going to ask an unrelated question.
Okay, let's see the time here. We still have time. One more question.
No.
Okay.
The Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha.
Yeah.
So the Dharma, Artha, and Kama, they are on the material platform, and Moksha is on the spiritual platform. Does that make sense to think in that?
We can say likewise, but we can also say it's all spiritual platform. The question is, Dharma, Artha, Kama on one side, or seem to be material, are they material? And then Moksha is the only spiritual aspect? That's the question. And direct answer, we can say yes. Therefore, moksha, topic of moksha is discussed in the Anta of the Veda. Therefore, it's called Veda Anta. That's Upanishad. Upanishad deals about this moksha. Mostly talks about Atma, Paramatma, and what the way to attain. It's all on the Upanishad, which is the Anta, means end of the Vedanta. But to get to the Anta part, not everyone is going to be ready. Not everyone is going to take Vedanta, studying Vedanta, whatever. You cannot. Not everyone is interested in moksha. What to do? Okay, go to the previous bhaga. The previous bhaga speaks about dharma, artha, and kama. Do your dharma and get benefit out of it and enjoy the result. And you will come to a point where enjoyment will freeze. Come to that. It's not one lifetime. It may take many lifetimes, by the way. It takes many lifetimes. One comes to a point that this is enough. Is there anything beyond this point? And that time, a person goes to the Vedanta part, Upanishad, moksha. We can say it's a stepping stone to go to the moksha. We cannot abandon the whole thing by itself, saying that the Veda part should be rejected totally. Only Vedanta should be taken. We cannot do that. This is all spiritually connected in one sense. Everything is spiritually connected. Not, as I said, not everyone will directly jump into moksha. Yes.
So can you say, as you are going through the, say, Kama and Artha are the two main things, and you do your best to add dharma, and that's when you get on the path?
No. You first do your dharma. Dharma of, I do this puja, Ganesha puja, for example. Why are we doing Ganesha puja? To remove obstacles. Or I am doing Lakshmi puja. Why am I doing Lakshmi puja? To become a devotee of Vishnu? Gold coins. From around what comes? Let it directly come to my thing. So we may keep underneath the photo, we'll keep that bowl and do puja, thinking that not on her basket, on my basket. What's the use of she's only putting in her basket? Right? It has to come to our basket or container, right? So we have Lakshmi, please me, give me golden coin. Right? So we do that. That's all part of what Vedas teaches, how to do all those different pujas. Those are dharma karyas. They're all part of them. I feed hundreds of people. Why? I get punya. I help the orphans. I aged people. Why? These are all punya karya. These are all dharma karya. Punyam. I get punya. By punya, what I get? Something out of it. Artham. I get artha. Artha means wealth in different forms. Wealth is not only money. In different forms. Wealth can be different form. I get wealth and start enjoying it. Calm. That's a sequence.
So you can say that moksha is, if you're not actively...
Sorry to interrupt. My thought, sorry to interrupt. If you feel that I never seen this person doing any dharma, but he is enjoying, There are people, right, who never come to the temple, never get into puja. They are rich people, or they are having fun, lifetime, a lot of fun. How is that? You should understand. We only see them this life. We don't know what all they did in previous lives. They could have done something, which is what they've got now. Now they're behaving like that, which are their planning for their future fall down. Okay, your question.
So when you align the dharma, artha and kama with moksha as a concept somewhere in the background, you cultivate bhakti, then you're still on the path, but moksha is a distant. You can align the three components to the moksha concept, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
We can. Yeah.
So you're not actively thinking about it, you're taking one step at a time toward it.
Yeah, we can align our dharma, artha, kama towards moksha. That's one way of program is also there. Another program is don't even get caught into the dharma, artha, and kama, all those things. Just engage in devotional service of Krishna. That itself gives us a result. We bypass those things totally. We can bypass all those things. We don't need to go through experience of dharma, artha, kama by practicing what Veda says, Veda Bhaga says. We can come to a realization. We can come to a practical point of what Vedanta says by engaging ourselves in devotional service. We get now the same final result of what we will get after many lifetimes. All this can be skipped, and directly by devotional service, by chanting, by the association of devotees, we gain all those things in one lifetime, which otherwise will take many lifetimes.
That's bhakti.
What's bhakti? That is called bhakti. That's bhakti. Okay, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Next week is 25th, if I'm right, and we don't have class because we are holding a 2 days meeting, conference call for our temple. If you're all available, kindly please join. It's the planning for this coming year and for following years. We'll send the link, and so next Saturday we won't have class, and we'll meet after a week. Thank you.
I'll see you in 4 weeks.
Oh, you are going to India. Have a wonderful trip, and see you. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for joining. Online devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.